There is a particular quiet that lives inside of a cemetery. It's not silence exactly, but a hush. A hush that seems to ask something of you the moment you step into it. I felt that recently, standing where my parents rest. I hadn't been there in a while, long enough that I wasn't really sure just how the visit would land in my spirit. Whether I'd feel numb or nostalgia or nothing at all. You never really know until you're just standing there in that spot. But what I felt was none of these things. What I felt was everything all at once, rising up before I could brace for it, really. So, welcome to our little podcast. This is Let's Talk About It. I am Anna Laura, a certified life, grief, and trauma informed coach and author of Rising Above Journey Within. Today, I want to tell you what happened at that headstone because I think it says so much more about grief and healing than any definition that I have given you or could ever give you for that matter. So my husband, he walked back to the truck without a word. I never had to say a word. And he came back with paper towels. No request from me, no hesitation on his part, just making a quiet decision to kneel down and wipe the leaves, sand, and grass cuttings from my parents' headstone himself. He did it like it was the most natural thing in the world, as he tended to my parents in the same way that he has attended to me for years. The emotions, they didn't creep up slowly, it bubbled up and spilled over. The way water does when you're cooking in the kitchen, you've forgotten that you have something on the stove, and suddenly, undeniably, impossible to pretend that the pot is not boiling over. It's actually happening. And in that moment, something in me went very quiet. And quiet enough for me to notice that what was actually true in that moment. That whatever I was feeling in my body, it was real. It was not performed, not exaggerated, not something to actually talk myself out of. It was real. So I let the tears come. I'm not afraid of letting them come anymore. I'm not afraid of what falls or how much falls or who sees the tears that are falling. So I allowed them to roll down my face gently without drama. And I gave my tears permission to just sit there on my skin without wiping them away in the air between me and the gravestone, just for a moment, maybe two. And underneath that crying, I felt something I can only describe as validated. Like my own grief had been given permission to exist by the one person whose permission actually matters, me. So I've come to believe that naming what you feel, actually putting the words to it instead of letting it stay a vague pressure that's resting in our chest, is one of the most healing things a person can do. Acknowledging a feeling is different from simply having one. It's the difference between a wave crashing over you and a wave you finally turn to face. Standing there, I was able to name it grief, love, missing them both, my mother and my father. And naming it made room inside of me for it to move through me instead of just sitting inside of me stuck. Here's what I want you to know as someone trained in this work, and that is crying isn't only a symptom of sadness, it's the body's own release valve, a natural way of moving those feel good emotions through and out of us, and not just the heavy ones. What happened at that headstone, it wasn't a breakdown, it was a release. But something happened to me, something happening for me. It was a release, not something happening to me, but instead something happening for me. Let that rest for a minute. So my husband, he didn't say anything. He didn't really need to. He's been standing beside me for a long time, 31 years to be exact, through enough hard seasons to know exactly what that kind of stillness really means in that moment. So instead of pulling me into him the way that he might have, he simply stepped in closer. He simply walked beside me. He allowed his presence to be the steadying thing rather than the interrupting one. He knew that tears needed to fall. He knew the release was needed. And just maybe that's the real gift in a relationship that has weathered their share of storms. Not that someone shows up with the right words, but that they know when no words are even required at all. They're not needed. That they can stand next to your grief, just stand without trying to shrink it or hurry it along or explain it away. So if you are supporting someone in grief, you don't have to fix it. You don't have to speak. Presence itself, steady, non anxious presence, is often the most healing thing that you can offer. I don't think I expected anything from that visit, really, but uncertainty about how it would sit with me. But I think I needed those tears more than I ever realized. I think some part of me had been carrying them. So much has happened. So much I wanted to say to my parents. I wanted to talk about the family changes, the things I have lived through, becoming an author, uh, having an advanced degree, and the certifications I've obtained, and what their death has created in me, a form of resilience that I would have never really known. I wanted them to know everything I've completed over the past 10 years. I still wonder what they would say. So all of that was sitting just beneath the surface, just waiting for the moment to let it go. So grief doesn't always arrive on a schedule. Sometimes it waits for the exact right afternoon, the exact moment, the exact right hush, the exact right hand sweeping dust from a headstone, and then it simply asks to be let out. So before we close, I want to offer you the same thing I try to offer every reader at the end of the chapter in the book. A moment to sit with this, not rush past it. Is there a grief that you've been carrying that hasn't been given permission to exist yet? Not fix, not explain, just named, witness, let out. You don't have to answer that today. But what I do ask is that you just sit with it. Just let it sit with you the way that you sit with someone you love. This is the kind of moment I write about in Rising Above, Journey Within. So much of healing isn't about fixing or fast forwarding through the hard parts. It's about naming what you feel, acknowledging it without judgment, and letting yourself actually feel it. Because that feeling, it's essential, not optional. If today's story opened something up in you and something came to mind while you were listening, that's not a coincidence. That's the one this mission is built for. Send this episode to someone you know who may need to hear this. Rising above doesn't mean rising out of your feelings. It means journeying within them all the way through until you come out the other side lighter. Wherever you are on your journey, I'm praying peace over your process. This is Rising Above, Journey Within, our little podcast. I am Anna Laura, and until next time, keep rising by going within.